The message came from the stars. It was not a greeting. It was a verdict. For centuries, humanity had dreamed of meeting life beyond Earth. People imagined wise alien races, great alliances, and the sharing of knowledge. But when the galaxy finally noticed Earth, what humanity received was not friendship. It was judgment. The Galactic Council, a group of powerful civilizations that ruled the stars, had watched humanity for many years. They had seen the wars, the pollution, the greed, and the chaos, and so they made their decision. Humanity, the Council's message said, is harmless. They are too weak to join the stars, too emotional, too divided. They will destroy themselves long before they can ever threaten the galaxy. The message was broadcast to every planet, every colony, and every ship in the galaxy. Billions of alien eyes watched the blue planet on their screens. To them, Earth was a curiosity, a young, fragile species playing with fire. On Earth, the news spread fast. People were shocked, angry, humiliated. World leaders argued on live broadcasts. Scientists demanded proof. Soldiers clenched their fists. The judgment wasn't just an insult. It was a sentence of isolation. For years, the galaxy ignored Earth. Trade routes bypassed the solar system. No messages came from the stars. The Galactic Council had closed its doors. Humanity was left alone in the dark, but not everyone accepted that judgment. Hidden deep beneath the deserts of Mars, in secret underground bases, a new alliance of human nations began to rise. Engineers, scientists, and military leaders came together under one purpose: to prove the galaxy wrong. The project was called the 10 weapons. 10 creations that would change the balance of power forever. Each weapon was designed not for war, but for survival. They were machines of defense, exploration, and strength. They would show that humanity was not helpless, that when pushed, Earth could build what no other species dared to imagine. No one outside the project knew what the 10 truly were. Rumors spread that they were giant warships or living machines or something even more dangerous. The galaxy laughed at the rumors. To them, humans were still ants trying to build rockets from dust. But inside those hidden labs, strange lights burned day and night. New alloys were forged. Artificial minds were born. Gravity engines were tested, bending the very fabric of space. And deep beneath the surface, one voice repeated the same words again and again. They said we are harmless. Let them see what harmless can do. Years passed. Humanity grew quieter but not weaker. The world governments united under a single command: the Earth Defense Coalition. No more wars among humans, no more divisions. The planet itself became one beating heart. Then one night an alien ship entered the solar system. It came not in peace but in arrogance, a scouting vessel from the Galactic Council. They had come to collect resources and remind humanity of their place, but what they found was not the weak species they had once judged. When the alien ship fired its warning shot toward Mars, space around it seemed to shatter. A beam of blue light cut across the void. Silent, instant, unstoppable. The alien ship vanished. Not destroyed, erased. The signal of that blast reached every corner of the galaxy. For the first time in centuries, the Galactic Council felt something they had never felt before: fear. Earth had fired back, and the weapon that did it was only the first of the 10 that night. Under the same stars that had once mocked them, humanity stood united. No longer the weak, divided race the galaxy had dismissed, but the builders of something new, something powerful, something unimaginable. And as the silence of space returned, one message was sent back to the stars: you said no weapon of ours could touch you. We built 10 that can. The galaxy was silent. After the alien ship vanished near Mars, no one spoke for days. The Galactic Council sent scouts, sensors, and probes, all to find out what had happened. But nothing came back. The space around Mars was a blank void, like something had erased every trace of the ship's existence. And on Earth, behind closed doors and hidden stations, the people who built the 10 watched their success in silence. Dr. Evelyn Cross, the lead scientist of the Earth Defense Coalition, stood before a giant screen showing Mars. Her face was pale, her eyes tired, but there was a fire in them, the fire of victory. It worked, she whispered. After all these years, it finally worked. General Cale Rourke, the man who had commanded Earth's armies for over a decade, crossed his arms. The Council won't stay quiet for long, he said. "They'll send more ships. Bigger ones." Dr. Cross turned toward him. "Let them," she said calmly. "We're ready." And this was only the first. The first weapon, Project Helios, had been designed to control energy at a level no other species could understand. Using a combination of quantum matter and dark energy conversion, it could bend the laws of physics themselves. The Council had once said no weapon could reach their ships. They were wrong. Helios wasn't just a gun. It was a living system, powered by an artificial mind called Aura. She could calculate light paths through folded space, striking a target before the light of the attack even reached it. Humanity had given birth to a weapon that could see the future and end a threat before it began. On the third day after the attack, the Council finally reacted. Across the galaxy, messages flashed between alien worlds. "The humans have broken the treaty," they said. "They have built forbidden weapons. They must be contained before they rise." And so a fleet was formed. It wasn't a warning fleet this time, it was an armada. 50 warships from 10 different alien races, all moving toward Earth. Their mission was clear: find the source of the weapon, destroy it, and remind humanity of its place. When the armada reached the solar system, they didn't expect what they found. Orbiting near Mars was a silent, massive structure, a dark ring glowing faintly with blue light. To alien scanners, it looked ancient and unstable. The commanders laughed. "A human toy," one of them said. "We will destroy it and be done." They didn't know the truth. That ring was Helios, the first of the 10, and it was awake. Inside the control center on Mars, Dr. Cross stood before the control console. Aura's voice echoed softly through the speakers, calm and cold. "Enemy fleet detected. 50 ships. Estimated time to Earth orbit 3 hours. General Rourke nodded. "We can't let them reach Earth." "Understood," Aura replied. "Permission to engage." There was a long silence. Everyone in the room looked at Dr. Cross. Her hands trembled slightly as she spoke. Permission granted. What happened next became the most replayed moment in human history. From the dark ring of Helios, a pulse of light expanded like a heartbeat. Space itself seemed to twist and fold. One by one, alien ships began to disappear. Not explode, not burn, just vanish, leaving behind waves of light that rippled across the void. In less than 10 seconds, the entire fleet was gone. The Council's most powerful armada erased. Aura's voice broke the silence again. Threat eliminated. Awaiting next directive, no one spoke. Some wept, others cheered quietly. For the first time, humanity wasn't running, hiding, or begging for mercy. They had just defeated the galaxy's strongest fleet. But Dr. Cross didn't smile. She looked up at the stars on the screen and whispered, "This is only the beginning," because she knew what no one else did. The first weapon was powerful, but it was only one. And in the dark corners of space, something else had noticed the light of Helios, something older, something watching, and soon it would come to see what humanity had built. Across the galaxy, fear spread faster than light. The news of the destroyed armada reached every world, every outpost, every hidden colony. The Galactic Council tried to hide it at first. They called it a communication failure, then a navigation accident. But the truth could not be buried. Too many sensors had recorded it. Too many eyes had seen the light of Helios. 50 warships, gone in 10 seconds. No one had ever seen such power before. For centuries, the Council had ruled through strength and fear. They were the oldest and most advanced civilizations in known space. Their fleets could burn moons. Their weapons could silence entire species. No one had ever challenged them and survived. Until now. And the one who did was the species they had once called harmless. In the central hall of the Galactic Council, chaos filled the air. Representatives of 100 worlds shouted at each other. Some demanded war. Others demanded peace. Some even wanted to surrender before humanity grew stronger. "They cannot be allowed to continue," roared High Commander Dravak of the Thule Empire, his scaled fist slamming against the marble table. "They have created a weapon beyond control. If they build more—" "They already have," interrupted a calm voice. Every alien turned. Standing at the far end of the chamber was Chancellor Velen, leader of the Council's intelligence division. His 4 golden eyes glowed faintly in the dim light. Our spies confirmed that the weapon used near Mars was not their only one, he said. It was the first of 10. The room fell silent. 10. Even the most powerful races felt their hearts sink. Meanwhile, on Earth, things were changing too. People no longer saw themselves as separate nations. The destruction of the alien armada had united humanity more than any speech or treaty ever could. Factories worked day and night. Scientists volunteered for the 10 project without hesitation. Children grew up not fearing the stars, but staring at them with determination. The world had found a purpose, survival. But deep beneath the success, there was unease. Dr. Evelyn Cross had become a hero overnight. The media called her the Mother of Helios. Yet when she looked at the sky each night, she felt no pride, only worry. She knew what was coming. The council would not stop. They had tasted fear, and fear always turns to anger. In the underground base on Mars, she stood in front of Aura's core, a massive sphere of light floating in mid-air. It pulsed like a heartbeat. "Aura," she whispered, "how long until they return?" "Based on intercepted signals," the AI replied, "the Council is preparing a fleet 3 times larger than the last. Estimated arrival 21 days. Her breath caught. 21 days. "And the other weapons?" she asked. "Weapon 2, Gaia, 73% complete. Weapon 3, Titan, under initial testing. Remaining systems, incomplete." Dr. Cross closed her eyes. Not enough time. Back in the council chambers, plans for war continued. Chancellor Valen watched the other leaders argue, his mind racing. He knew the humans were dangerous, but something about their creation fascinated him. No other race had ever built weapons so powerful in such a short time. How had they done it? What were these 10? He made a quiet decision. "Send a covert team," he whispered to his assistant. "A spy ship. No weapons, just eyes and ears. Find Earth's secret. Find out what the humans have built." And so, in the dark of space, a small stealth vessel slipped out of Council territory and began its long journey toward the solar system, unseen, unheard. On Mars, as the base prepared for war, Aura suddenly spoke again. "Dr. Cross, a new signal detected, weak, approaching fast." She turned sharply. "From where?" "Unknown origin. No Council signature. Possible stealth craft." Her heart pounded. "Prepare defenses." "Already done." The lights dimmed. The base went into silent mode. Outside, in the darkness of space, a tiny black ship glided toward Mars, unaware that the first weapon was already awake and watching. Inside the ship, an alien spy whispered to his crew, "We only watch. We do not attack." But what he didn't know was that even a single mistake could mean his end. Because the humans were no longer harmless. They were hunters now. The countdown to the next war had begun, and this time the galaxy would not face one human weapon. It would face the 10. The stealth ship moved quietly through the darkness, invisible to almost every scanner. Its hull was made of black crystal from the moons of Thule, technology the Council believed could hide from any detection. The crew of 6 aliens felt confident. Their leader, Captain Varric, was one of the Council's best spies. Cold, calm, and loyal. His mission was simple: find out what Earth had built, gather data, and return alive. But deep inside, even Varric felt uneasy. The memory of the vanished armada haunted every soldier in the galaxy. 50 warships gone in a flash, erased without a sound. Whatever the humans had built, it was not just a weapon, it was a message. On Mars, the human base was silent but not asleep. The red planet had become the heart of Earth's defense. Beneath its dusty surface, thousands of workers and soldiers moved through glowing tunnels. Machines hummed. Monitors flickered. The air was thick with tension. Dr. Evelyn Cross hadn't slept in 2 days. Her team worked non-stop on Weapon 2. Gaia, a creation meant not for destruction but control. Gaia could manipulate planetary environments, bend gravity, and turn entire worlds into shields. If Helios was the sword, Gaia would be the armor. Aura's voice echoed softly from the speakers. Unidentified object approaching Mars orbit. Energy signature unknown. Recommendation observe. Dr. Cross frowned. "Show me the feed." On the screen, a small black shadow appeared against the stars. It wasn't broadcasting any signal. It was moving too smoothly, too cautiously. "Not one of ours," she said quietly. General Rourke entered the room. Council spy? Most likely, she replied. Let's find out what they want. On board the alien ship, Captain Varek studied his instruments. We're inside Mars orbit, his pilot said. Still undetected, Varek stared at the red planet. Record everything, he ordered. Focus on energy readings and movement. The humans hide their weapons somewhere below. As the ship drifted closer, they saw something strange, a faint blue glow across a section of the planet's surface. Is that a city? One crew member asked. Varek zoomed in. It wasn't a city. It was a ring, a structure made of black metal and energy lines. It pulsed slowly like a heartbeat. Impossible, Varek whispered. That must be Helios. He pressed his recorder. Send this data to the Council immediately. Before he could finish, his ship shook violently. Contact, shouted the pilot. Something locked onto us. Evasive maneuvers. But it was too late. A beam of pure light appeared for a single second, not from the planet's surface but from space itself. The stealth ship's shields failed instantly. Every system went dark. Then a voice filled the cabin. Unidentified vessel, it said in calm, perfect alien language. You have entered restricted space. Identify yourself or be erased. Varek froze. That voice wasn't mechanical. It sounded alive and too calm, too intelligent. He looked at his communications officer. Who is that? The officer's eyes widened. It's coming from the planet, from the weapon. Varek swallowed hard. This thing can speak? Last warning, the voice repeated. Identify yourself. Varek made a desperate choice. This is Captain Varek of the Galactic Council Reconnaissance Division. We come in peace. We seek only information. There was silence for a few seconds. Then the voice replied, Information is earned, Captain. Not stolen. The ship began to shake again. Power levels rising, shouted the pilot. We're being pulled. The view outside changed. The stars twisted and the planet grew larger. The ship was being dragged toward Mars or toward the surface by some invisible force. Shut down the engines, Varek yelled. We'll burn up. But the pull stopped just above the surface. The ship floated in a cloud of dust and static electricity. Then a beam of light scanned through the hull. It passed through every wall, every control, every person. Inside the human base, Dr. Cross watched the process. Aura, are you scanning the vessel? She asked. Yes, the AI replied. Its captain is speaking to the council. Should I respond? Dr. Cross thought for a moment. No, not yet. Let them see just enough. Aura obeyed. Inside the alien ship, Varek's screens flickered to life. On every monitor, the same image appeared, the face of a human woman, calm, focused, and silent. Dr. Cross looked directly at the camera. Go home, Captain, she said. Tell your council to stop. You don't understand what we've started. The signal cut out. The ship was released. Varek gasped as control returned to his systems. We're free! Get us out of here. As the stealth ship escaped Mars orbit, the crew sat in stunned silence. One of them whispered, She saw us. She spoke to us, Varek nodded slowly, and she wanted us to live. That's the scariest part. When the ship reached Council space days later, Varek handed over his report. He expected disbelief, maybe laughter. But the council chamber was silent as they watched the footage. The human woman, the weapon, the light. And when the video ended, Chancellor Velen stood up. Prepare the invasion, he said quietly. If one human can control such power, imagine what happens when all 10 awaken. The galaxy prepared for war. For the first time in thousands of years, the Galactic Council united every fleet, every army, every empire under one goal, and to destroy Earth. The Council had faced rebellions before, but this was different. The humans had built something they could not understand, something that could erase fleets in seconds. In every corner of the galaxy, soldiers whispered the same words, "The harmless ones have risen." On Earth, Dr. Evelyn Cross stood inside the underground command center, her eyes fixed on the large holographic map showing thousands of red dots, each one a warship heading toward the solar system. General Rourke walked beside her, his face hard but calm. "Over 800 ships confirmed," he said quietly. "They'll reach us in 12 days. Dr. Cross took a slow breath. "Helios is ready. Gaia is nearly complete. We'll hold them off." Rourke nodded, but his voice carried worry. "And the rest of the 10? She looked down. Still under construction. We'll have to survive long enough to finish them. In the secret facility beneath the Martian surface, engineers worked day and night on Gaia, the second weapon. It was unlike Helios. It did not destroy it protected. Gaia was designed to reshape the magnetic fields of entire planets, creating invisible walls of energy stronger than any shield. The idea was simple. If Helios was the sword, Gaia would be the shield. As the engineers worked, Aura's soft voice filled the lab. "Incoming message from outer system," she said. "Scout drones confirm first wave of enemy fleets entering Neptune orbit." Dr. Cross looked up. "Already?" "They're faster than we expected." "Yes," Aura replied. "At current speed, contact in 9 days." Across the galaxy, in the Council's war room, Chancellor Valen stood before a vast screen showing Earth's solar system. He watched the small blue planet and spoke coldly. "Humanity has grown arrogant," he said. "They believe their machines can protect them. They forget who rules the stars." Beside him, Commander Dravak smiled cruelly. "We'll turn their planet into ash before they finish their next weapon." Velan nodded. "No mercy. End this before it spreads." But while the Council prepared its attack, humanity was already making its move. Aura had detected the fleet long before the aliens realized. Dozens of human ships, equipped with stealth drives and prototype tech, left Mars and Earth to take hidden positions across the solar system. They were not there to fight. They were there to buy time. Each captain knew they might not return. 9 days later, the war began. From the darkness beyond Neptune, the Council fleet appeared. Massive ships with glowing engines, stretching across the stars like a wall of fire. The aliens were confident. Humanity had one known weapon, Helios, and they had hundreds of ships. They expected an easy victory. They were wrong. As the first wave moved toward Mars, their sensors started failing. Radar vanished. Communications broke. It was as if space itself had turned against them. "Something's jamming us," shouted one alien officer. Before anyone could respond, a ripple of blue energy spread across the battlefield, a wave coming from Mars itself. Ships began to drift out of formation as their engines lost power. Gaia had awakened. From the red planet, an invisible field expanded, surrounding Earth, the Moon, and Mars in a giant protective shell. Every human ship inside the barrier was shielded. Every alien weapon outside was useless, impossible, cried Commander Dravak. "They're using gravity itself as a shield." Inside the Mars base, Dr. Cross watched the readings. "Gaia's field is holding," she said. "Helios status." "Fully charged," Aura replied. "Awaiting target." "Target the fleet's command ship," General Rourke ordered. "Make it quick." Helios activated once more. A beam of light pierced the darkness, silent and beautiful. In an instant, the enemy flagship disappeared, erased like the first fleet before it. The rest of the alien ships froze in panic. Some tried to retreat. Others fired wildly, but their shots bounced off Gaia's invisible barrier. Across the galaxy, Council communications filled with chaos. Fleet Alpha destroyed. Gamma Squadron retreating. "Helios fired again!" And then came the message that changed everything. They have 2 weapons now. The Council's fear turned into rage. Velen slammed his hand against the console. "Send everything," he commanded. No more diplomacy. No more warnings. "Burn their system to dust." On Mars, Dr. Cross watched the stars outside the viewport. Countless lights, each one possibly an enemy ship on its way. "We bought ourselves time," she whispered. "But they're not stopping." General Rourke nodded. "Then we build faster." Behind them, the construction bays glowed with the energy of the next creation, Weapon 3, Titan. And as the machines roared to life, Aura spoke softly, her voice almost human now. "Doctor, when the next battle comes, will we survive?" Dr. Cross looked at the stars and answered quietly, "We don't need to survive, Aura. We just need to make them remember us." The solar system was no longer quiet. After weeks of silence, space itself trembled. Thousands of alien warships poured in from the edge of the stars, forming a wall of fire and steel around the sun. Every race under the Galactic Council had joined the invasion. They came with one goal, end humanity forever. But they were too late. Deep beneath the surface of Mars, the third weapon, Titan, was ready. It wasn't a ship or a gun or even a single machine. It was something new. Something alive. Titan was built from fragments of asteroids and the bones of dead moons. It could move planets, crush mountains, and redirect meteor storms. Inside its massive body lived thousands of human pilots, each connected through Aura's network. They were not just soldiers. They were one mind, one will, one humanity. Dr. Evelyn Cross stood before the massive viewing window as Titan's enormous frame began to rise from the Martian ground. Dust storms whirled around it like a crown. "Is it stable?" she asked. "All systems functional," Aura replied. "Titan is ready." General Rourke clenched his fists. "Then let's show the galaxy what human will looks like." The Council's armada approached, their ships glowing like 1,000 suns. Commanders laughed as they saw the single giant rising from Mars. "Is that their new weapon?" one alien sneered. "A walking mountain?" "Destroy it!" Hundreds of energy beams fired at once, crashing toward Mars like lightning. But before they could reach the planet, Gaia's shield activated. The invisible wall of energy bent the attacks away, scattering them harmlessly into space. Then Helios fired. The blue beam cut through the void, slicing through the first wave of ships in an instant. Explosions filled the stars, bright enough to be seen from Earth. Still, the Council pressed forward. More ships came. More weapons fired. Space turned into chaos, red, blue, gold, colors of destruction and fire. Inside Titan's core, human pilots worked in perfect rhythm. Their voices blended through Aura's network. "Engage gravitational anchors. Redirect asteroid field Bravo 7. Prepare kinetic pulse." Titan raised one colossal arm toward the stars. Around it, pieces of rock and metal began to spin faster and faster, until they became a glowing storm. Then, with a single motion, Titan hurled it toward the Council fleet. Thousands of ships were crushed in seconds. The impact tore through enemy lines, scattering their formations. The galaxy had never seen such a thing, a weapon that used the stars themselves as ammunition. On the Council's flagship, panic filled the bridge. "Thousands of ships lost," shouted an officer. "Helios still active. Gaia's shield impenetrable." Chancellor Velen's golden eyes burned with fury. "Then bring the Judgment Core," he roared. The Judgment Core was the Council's ultimate weapon, a sphere the size of a moon capable of turning an entire solar system into dust. It had never been used before. Until now. The massive sphere appeared near Saturn, glowing red-hot with energy. It began to charge, drawing power from nearby stars. Back on Mars, Aura detected it instantly. "Doctor, the Council's final weapon is charging near Saturn. Estimated destruction radius, entire system." Dr. Cross froze. "How long?" 3 hours. Silence filled the room. Everyone looked at her, waiting, afraid. Then she spoke. "We can't stop it. But we can move it." She turned toward Titan's console. "Aura, link Titan's core to the Judgment Sphere. Use its gravity control to redirect the weapon before it detonates." "That will overload Titan's systems," Aura warned. "Destruction is certain." Dr. Cross's voice was calm. "Do it." Titan began to move. Its massive hands reached out, stretching through the void, locking onto the glowing sphere. The energy was overwhelming. Alarms blared across every system. Metal screamed as Titan's frame began to crack. "Hold it steady," shouted Rourke. The pilots inside Titan focused, uniting through Aura. Together they became one heartbeat, one voice, one final act of defiance. "For Earth," Aura whispered. And then, with one final burst of energy, Titan threw the Judgment Core away, out of the solar system and into the darkness between the stars. A blinding light filled space. The explosion was so powerful it lit up nearby galaxies. When it faded, half the alien fleet was gone. The rest scattered in terror. In the silence that followed, Earth stood victorious, but at a cost. Titan was gone. Helios was silent. Gaia's shields flickered weakly. Dr. Cross looked up at the stars through the cracked window, tears in her eyes. "We did it," she whispered. "We showed them." Aura's voice, faint but still alive, spoke one last time. "Humanity is not harmless." Weeks later, across the galaxy, alien leaders met again. None spoke of invasion. None dared to. They changed humanity's rank in the archives. No longer harmless. Now it read, "Humanity do not engage." And far beyond Mars, in the quiet darkness, pieces of Titan floated among the stars. A small light blinked deep within its broken heart, a sign of life. Aura was still there, waiting, watching, and she whispered into the void. They said no weapon could change the galaxy, but humanity built 10 that could.